After back-to-back matchups between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, with Kamala Harris replacing Biden late in the race, the 2028 election brings us two completely new nominees. For the Democrats, we have California Governor Gavin Newsom. For the Republicans, we have Vice President J.D. Vance. In this video, I'll be going over my first 2028 presidential map prediction. This election is expected to be one of the most competitive in recent history, with both candidates having very different styles, backgrounds, and messages for the country. Before we get started, leave a like and subscribe to my channel to stay updated on news, elections, and anything politics related. Let me know in the comment section which video you want to see next. We will start out with the solid states and move our way up to the final battleground states. Make sure to watch until the end, as there will be many shocking surprises in the final few states. We'll start by filling out the solid states for both candidates. Solid states are states where either party is expected to win by 15 percentage points or more. I'll start off with the solid blue states. The solid blue states include Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, Illinois, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maryland, Delaware, and the 1st Congressional District of Maine. For the solid red states, we have Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, all of Nebraska except for its 2nd Congressional District, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Alaska. With the solid states filled out, Gavin Newsom stands at 167 electoral votes to J.D. Vance's 114 electoral votes. We will now be moving on to the likely states for both candidates. Likely states are states where either candidate is expected to win by 7 to 13 percentage points. Likely states are slightly more competitive than solid states, but still have a clear favorite. I'll start off with the likely blue states. The likely blue states include Colorado, New Mexico, Virginia, New Jersey, New Hampshire, and Maine at large. This brings Gavin Newsom's total up to 215 electoral votes. For the likely red states, we have Texas, Florida, and Indiana. With the likely states filled out, Gavin Newsom leads with 215 electoral votes to J.D. Vance's 195 electoral votes. We will now be moving on to the lean states for both candidates. Lean states are states where either candidate is expected to win by 3 to 6 percentage points. These are races with a favorite, but are still very competitive. For the Democrats, their lean states include Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District and the state of Minnesota. In the 2024 election, Kamala Harris won Minnesota by a margin of 4.2%. Despite Donald Trump flipping every major swing state, Minnesota once again proved itself to be a dependable blue stronghold for Democrats. For the Republicans, their lean states include Iowa, Ohio, and Maine's 2nd Congressional District. With the lean states filled out, Gavin Newsom maintains his lead, standing at 226 electoral votes to Vance's 219 electoral votes. We now have the 7 remaining battleground states. These are the states that will ultimately decide who wins the presidency, and every single one of them is expected to be razor close. Let's start off with the state of Nevada. Nevada has been drifting more Republican in the last couple of cycles. In 2024, Trump won by just over a point, and that slim margin came from booming rural turnout and flagging enthusiasm in Vegas and Reno. For 2028, J.D. Vance's message on the economy and blue-collar jobs could resonate with the Silver State voters, especially in places like Elko and Carlson City. Newsom will have to lean hard on his neighboring state advantage, but if Democratic turnout in Clark County doesn't bounce back, this one slides into the tilt red column. The state of Arizona is back in play again, and it's never simple. After going blue in 2020, then red in 2024, the state's suburbs are growing fast, and Latino voters will decide which way it tips. Newsom's progressive nature might energize Phoenix area Democrats, while Vance could pick up steam with rural voters and independents who swung to the right last time. There are too many obstacles for Newsom, so as of now, Arizona will go into the tilt red column. We will now be moving on to the state of Georgia. Out of all 50 states, Georgia is probably the most competitive out of them all. In 2020, Biden carried Georgia by just 0.2 percentage points, flipping the state for the first time since 1992. In 2024, Trump flipped it back, winning it by 2.2%. In 2028, Gavin Newsom will need strong turnout in Atlanta and its suburbs, especially in places like Fulton, DeKalb, Gwinnett, and Cobb counties. These areas are key to any Democratic win. On the other hand, J.D. Vance is likely to do very well in the rural parts of the state and could make gains with working class voters across Middle and South Georgia. At the end of the day, the race is going to be close, but with how fast suburbs are growing and trending blue, I think Newsom will narrowly flip back the state of Georgia. Now, let's move on to the state of North Carolina. North Carolina is a state Democrats have been chasing for years. Obama won it back in 2008, but since then it stayed red, even though the margins have been within a couple of points every cycle. In 2024, Trump took it by about a point. Heading into 2028, there are two big things to watch here. First, Trump's push to cut national funding, everywhere from K-12 grants to Medicaid support, would mean less cash for public schools, fewer resources for rural hospitals, and tighter budgets for programs that help low-income families. This hurts kids in small towns across eastern and western North Carolina, and it makes it harder for teachers, nurses, and social workers to do their jobs. Second, Trump's big beautiful bill has received opposition even from his own party. One of the Republicans who opposed it was Senator Tom Tillis from North Carolina. During his speech, Tillis said, "What do I tell 663,000 people in 2 to 3 years when President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid because the funding's not there anymore?" Opposition from his own party in North Carolina is a very bad sign for J.D. Vance in 2028. With Trump's cuts threatening schools and hospitals, and North Carolina's own Senator Tom Tillis breaking ranks over the big beautiful bill, Democrats are in a very good position in North Carolina. So I will be putting North Carolina into the tilt blue column as of now. With North Carolina filled out, Gavin Newsom stands at 258 electoral votes to J.D. Vance's 236 electoral votes, meaning once again the presidential election will come down to the three critical Rust Belt states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. We will start with the state of Wisconsin, which is another very competitive state. In 2024, Trump won by just 1%. In 2028, Newsom will lean on strong turnout in Milwaukee, Madison, and the suburbs around Green Bay. He'll point out how cutting federal funds hurts public schools and rural hospitals across the state. J.D. Vance will focus on rural communities and small towns, talking up manufacturing jobs and traditional values. But if Newsom can run up big margins into big cities and keep voters engaged in the suburbs, he will flip Wisconsin. This state will be very close, but as of now, I will be placing Wisconsin into the tilt blue column. Now, let's move on to the state of Michigan. Michigan has been one of the most important swing states in recent elections, and once again, it's right at the heart of the 2028 map. In 2024, Trump managed to flip it back by a narrow margin, but it was close, just like it always is. This time around, Newsom is hoping to rebuild support that helped Democrats win here in 2020. He'll be appealing to young voters, union families, and suburban swing voters. Meanwhile, J.D. Vance is going to push hard in northern Michigan and rural areas around the state, places where Trump's influence still remains. It's going to be close, no doubt, but if Newsom can get enough turnout in Detroit, hold steady in the suburbs, and make small gains in small counties, he'll flip Michigan. As of now, Michigan will be placed into the tilt blue column. With Michigan filled out, Gavin Newsom has crossed the 270 electoral vote threshold required to become the next president of the United States of America. Our last state on the map is the state of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is considered the crown jewel state for presidential elections. In 2024, Trump narrowly flipped the state back into the red column, and heading into 2028, both parties are once again making it a top priority. For Gavin Newsom to win here, he'll need huge turnout out of Philadelphia and the surrounding suburbs, especially in places like Bucks and Montgomery counties. Those areas have been trending blue, but they don't always show up in big numbers. Meanwhile, J.D. Vance will focus hard on the working class vote in western Pennsylvania and rural areas in the central part of the state. Places like Erie, Johnstown, and the small towns between Pittsburgh and Harrisburg are key to his path. If he can hold on to those margins and peel off just enough voters in the suburbs, he can hold on to the state for the GOP. As of now, Republicans are the slight favorites here, so I will be giving Pennsylvania to J.D. Vance. With every state filled out, Gavin Newsom stands at 283 electoral votes to J.D. Vance's 255 electoral votes. That gives Newsom a narrow win in this first 2028 map prediction, but as we've seen in the past, just a shift of a few points in a couple of states could completely change the outcome. This race is shaping up to be one of the most competitive we've ever seen. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to my channel to stay updated on both the 2026 and the 2028 election cycles. Comment down below what you think will happen in 2028, and I'll see you guys in the next video.